Hey guys, welcome back. So Hive just provided their results through the Cedar website. So we were able to pull the data here. So let's take a look at it here really quick. We'll take a look to see how far I was off on my estimates as far as what I was thinking Q1 was going to look like. So let's see here. Let's take a look at it here. Oh, that one. Nope, I wanted to go over here. That one. Geez, too many buttons. All right. So here's the results. So assets obviously has decreased a little bit as far as cash because they obviously paid some things. But overall, if we look at it here, we're still at 126 million roughly in assets, which is an increase of about, what is that, 19 or so million from Q4 of March 31st. So that was a nice increase there. We also have total assets of 247 million, which is a nice increase from 178 million in Q4 as well. So far so good. Let me see here. What else do we have here? Liabilities and equity stayed about the same. Actually decreased a little bit from Q4. So we're at 9.5 million compared to 9.8 million. And then total liabilities is up a little bit to 52 million compared to 43 million, which is obviously okay because they're expanding and things like that. So that I'm okay with that. Total liabilities and equity. So equity obviously increased to 247 million compared to 178 million for the prior period for Q4. All right, so let's take a look at the 3 months ended for period 1. So they provided that they basically from mining, they made 37 million point two compared to last year, Q1 2020, they had 6.5 million, which is a really nice increase. It's actually very good. I'm happy to see that that went up so much. Obviously, the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum has gone way up from the year ago, but still, that's what we want to see. We want to see improvements in revenue. After cash, cost of digital currency mining, so you have operations maintenance cost, and you have depreciation notes 6, 11, and 16. I think this is where they just wrote off some of the miners that they're not using. So it came out to be 24 million roughly. And then what else do we have here? Expenses. Expenses has obviously increased quite a bit. It increased by about almost 3 million compared to a year ago. It's at 4.1 million compared to 1.1 million. And then obviously net income for the period, it was 18.5 million compared to almost 8 million for 2020. So that was actually really good. I'm really happy to see these numbers here. And let me see if we have the Q1 and all the other comparisons in the other sheet here. But first, I wanted to go over this with what I had originally for my estimate for Q1. So if we look at it here, oh, there we go. So here's Q1. This is what I had. I had an estimate of, let me zoom this in a little bit for you guys. So I had an estimate of 48 million and EPS of 13 cents, which was on gross, not on net. Right, they came back with 5 cents EPS, earnings per share, after all expenses. So here's where I went wrong, I believe. I think I had this number, the profit that they're making on these miners, a little too high. So based on what we know as far as what the results were, here's where I should have been at more or less. I should have been closer to $15 on the miners for the GPU. That would have given us 22 million for the quarter from Ethereum. And then everything else stayed pretty much the same, and we would have been right there at the 37.2 million mark. So that's live and learn, right? You learn by your own mistakes, and I just had it too high for a number here. Overall, wasn't too bad. I mean, I was off by, 11 million or so, which is quite a lot. But I know why I was off now. For some reason, I had, like I said here, I had 22.65 for the amount being earned, possibly because I thought, one, the hash rate wasn't as high on Ethereum, and we didn't have that upgrade yet, I believe, which obviously cut down on supply. So I thought I was going to be mining higher. So that's where I went wrong. So let's take a look here really quick. Okay, let's take a look at the other sheet here that they have other data on. Let's see if we can find it here. Oh. Let me see here. So here's that sheet. I got too many buttons. Okay, so this is their management discussion and analysis, contains information up to and including October 1st. So this is everything that they have currently. At first, when I was looking over this data, gosh, I spent like 3 hours going over this data. I just couldn't make it work. And then I finally figured out why. So it's including up to yesterday or the day before, which is October 1st. So this is what they have currently. They have 4,800. The new miners running at roughly around 495 petahash. So if we look at my data here for Hive, so I marked the ones that are in green to correspond with the ones that are in green on my sheet here, kind of, and I'll explain a little bit here. So here's my data that I have based on the information that they just provided for the Q1 report, or at the end of October, sorry. So this is for the end of October, not the end of October, we're in October, gosh. At the end of September up to October 1st, they're saying that they have 4,800 of the green miners with a petahash of 495. So 4,800 would be this 3,000 here, 900 of these. And I had to increase the hash rate on these to basically 100,000 because it just wouldn't work out for the petahash. So they said they have approximately 495. So if we take 300 and 90 here and 90 here, we end up with roughly 480 petahash, which is really close. So there's some, I think one of these might be a little bit higher, might be like 102 or 103, 100,000 petahash to get us up to that 495 petahash. So this is really close to where I'm seeing it. I played around with the numbers as best I could as far as when things are supposed to come in and when they have them already. So these guys here were supposed to come in September, October, which is kind of where they might be right now. Obviously, this one was in October or September. This one and the other one was in October. This one was obviously in June, so I think that one came in. I'm not sure about this one. The numbers just didn't work out, right? So 4,800 miners and 495 petahash. This is the only way I can make it work to where those numbers were pretty close to what they provided. So then if we look at the next one here, next one is the 7,400 miners running at about approximately 600 petahash. So those, I looked through it all the miners that I have in here for when they're coming in, and these are all the ones that are in orange. So these added up would equal, that's, what did they say, 7,400? 7,400. So I'm a little high on here. I'm 7,480, but the petahash is pretty close as well. If we add this stuff up, I'm at, what did they say? About 600 petahash. I have 608 petahash. So it's really close to what they're saying on these. So based on this information, looks like the ones they got rid of were the old, let me see here. So these starting out, the BTC miners, these were I'm guessing the S9s. They were mining speed of 17, so these might have been the S7s or something like that. They weren't or S9 pluses. So the mining speed here was a little low, obviously. So I think they got rid of these. So only have these mining for 6 months here. And then they also had these 30,000 was it mega hash, terahash, 30,000 terahash miners here that I don't think they're going to be using. I think they're getting rid of these. I just don't see them possibly using these when they have these newer miners that are much more efficient and with a higher hash rate. So I'm thinking these here, the 2,500, 500 here, and 1,500 here, along with the old S19 miners, or whatever those were, those are, I think, gone. I think they're going to be writing those off and probably selling them, maybe getting a little bit for them. But yeah, I wouldn't be using these. I mean, obviously you have better miners here. So based on that information, this is what I kind of figured as far as what they're running up to October 1st. And then I'll go into as far as what numbers I'm using for the rest of the year here. And that might be a little high as well. So we'll take a look at it. And I'm thinking I may have to do a different report on this because the stuff is just getting so confusing right now as far as which miners are in, which miners are out. They're not providing all that data, and it's making it tough. So I may have to go Q1, Q2, and then try to figure out what the potential is for Q3 and Q4 based on previous quarters, and we'll go from there. What else did I want to show you? I think that is it as far as the changes that I've seen here on what they reported. So that obviously corresponds with this report here. So this is the 480 or 4,800 and the 7,400 miners at 600 petahash. And then I've updated the Ethereum, which was 13,900, and 2,600 at 550 gigahashes and 3,300 gigahashes. So that's been updated here as well in the numbers. So total gigahash for the GPU miners is 3,850. Total miners is 16,500. Rough speed of 233 megahashes per miner. And then we have a possible profit price of 1561 on these, and these are running for 12 months. And the reason I say that this stuff is kind of getting difficult to track, because the price does fluctuate so much with Ethereum and Bitcoin, that it's really difficult to figure out what the possibilities. Obviously, I'm using the latest data here, so obviously price goes up, everything else is going to increase in value, so it's going to give me a really weird possible number that they're going to have for the end of the year, higher elevated number than it really should be. Because in Q1 they could be mining at 43,000 Bitcoin, while in Q2 they might be at 53,000. So there's a huge price difference as far as what they could mine. So this is just the data here I have is good. It's just not per quarter. I think I have to do a different report, and we'll probably update you guys when that happens, just to get better numbers, because I think right now the numbers are a little high. And the reason for that, like I said, is just the numbers are for basically if everything was for 12 months or 8 months, 7 months, whatever it is, at the same price, and things are not at the same price. So that's where I think I have to put in numbers for Q1, what the numbers were for Q2, to get a better yearly total of what it actually could be. I mean, obviously, if the price stayed the same, this is what we would have as far as the totals go, but they're not. So they're more fluid, they're more dynamic, so we have to update that as well. But right now, just on the numbers, so we're saying GPUs are going to be mining for 12 months. These here, the old S9 miners, I think they were maybe mined for 6 months, maybe. I don't know. I don't know exactly when they turn those off, so that's why it's hard to tell. And then, obviously, 8 months for these guys here, which were the What's Miner 31S Plus, 7 months, 6 months, 6 months. And then these that are supposed to be coming in later on, I put in for 2 months, because those were supposed to come in August, September, but I just don't know when those came in, right? Based on the numbers that they provided, this is what I figured is already installed. This is what's probably coming down the line. I just don't know when. So I just put down 2, 2, 2, and 1. For these miners down here, I put the Avalon miner 1216 or 1246s at 76664. We'll have to obviously keep an eye on that as well. And those were supposed to be May something, and those were probably installed June, July, and then August, September. Those might have been already installed. But based on these numbers here, which I think is really high, that's why I always go with a conservative number of 50%, cutting it from where my estimate is. So I'm coming up with 198 million. I don't think that's going to be it. If they only mine 37 million the Q1, if they mine another, let's say Bitcoin price goes up in price, Q2 could be another 50 million. You're at 83 million. You're going to be closer to probably like 160 million to 170 million for this year. And then obviously Bitcoin price, if it stays where it's at 48,000 right now, you're looking at 50% discount from the gross revenue at a 26 cents EPS for the year. If you do that, 2x would be 52 cents, and then 3x would be 77. So you're looking at a price possibly at 516, 1032, 1549, 2065. But let's get into some of the highlights here as well. So like I said, I'm going to update this just to make it a little bit better. I got some work ahead of me. When I first started doing this, it sounded good, but then once you actually do it a couple of times, you're like, oh, I made a mistake here. So let's take a look at this here really quick. So Q1 quarterly highlights for June 30th, 2021, whereas obviously they generated, 37.2 million here. Gross profit margin was 31 million. Mined 225, so we'll add that to the HODL report along with 9,700 Ethereum. Earned net income of 18.5 million, so it's almost 50% from their gross. And I think a lot of it was just the price of Bitcoin went down, Ethereum went down, so that's why they took a depreciation on that. That's why it came back down. Working capital increased by 19.4 million during the 3 months period ended, which is good, and digital currency assets of 82 million right now, which is good as well. So overall, good quarter. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to cover in here. Oh, there was the comparison for, where is it at? I had a comparison here. someplace. There it is. Okay. So this is a good comparison for the Q1, Q4, Q3, and Q2 of 2020. So we're actually now seeing Q1 2022. Obviously Q4, we just got results last week. So the good thing is obviously that we are seeing a higher number than the previous quarter here. So the last quarter was 33 million, about 0.4. This time around we're at 37.2 million, which is good. If you look at Q1 of last year, which was here, we're at 6.5 million. So that's a nice, huge increase of almost, what is that, 5x from where it was in last year this time. Net was obviously at 24 million. We had 22 million for the prior period, and we had only 963,000 for Q1 in last year, which that is a 24x increase. So that's huge, right? That should really help the price go up in the long run. Next is the gross mining margin, 83%. It's just good. We said the same thing here in Q4. And then obviously we've improved every single quarter that we've been around. We've been improving on that. Gross margin percentage went down a little bit from 68 last quarter to 65, but we've basically improved that every single quarter going forward, except for this one went down a little bit. Reevaluation gain on digital currency, so they obviously price of crypto went down, so they lost 3.4 million on that. Hosting revenue has obviously increased to 1.7, which is a nice increase, which is a almost 4x increase from Q4. Share-based compensation obviously went way up to 2.3 million. General expenses went actually down to 2.3 million, almost $800,000 less from Q4. Foreign exchanges, we actually had a gain on it, where we had a loss last quarter, which is good. And then obviously net income from continuing operations was at 18,591,000. This was obviously better than the 14.3 million that we had in Q4, and it has obviously gotten better each quarter that they've been operating. So overall, really good quarter. Nothing to complain here. And like I said, I'm going to have to update these numbers here a little bit, make it a little bit better for actually predicting it, because I think right now, if you just look at, let's take a look at it here. If you look at the numbers here, so we made basically 37 here, and we made 33 here, so we're at 70 million right now, roughly, right? So if you just take 37 for this one that we have here, so let's just say they make 37 in Q2, let's just say they make 42, depending where Bitcoin price is at, 42 to 45. So now you're at 79 for the 2 quarters, 79 million. So they're saying they have a run rate of 200 million roughly. So then the following quarters have to be like over, what is that going to be, 60,000 or 60 million basically to get us there. So we'll have to keep an eye on it obviously, but yeah, good quarter, nothing to complain about here. Let me know what you guys think about the numbers. Obviously there's a lot of changes going on. The data is just what it is, what they provide. And I try to keep up with it as best I can. They don't always provide the most accurate or most timely information, I should say. They have approximations as far as what they're mining. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it. But yeah, like I said, I think these are gone, the 18,000 old ones, and then I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know why they would have gotten these here, the 30,000 terahash miners along with these. I think this was just possibly just a waste of money. I don't think they're going to be running these, especially since they're getting ones that are at 74, 87, and 100,000 terahashes and 90,000 terahashes. This was, I don't know, just to appease somebody at one of the miner producers or something like that. Just, yeah, we'll take them and then sell them. I don't know what that was. But yeah, everything else is looking good here. Like I said, I'll update the numbers here for Q1. We'll include Q4 numbers and kind of see what we can figure out going forward. But we'll definitely use this to kind of help us out as far as when the miners are supposed to come in and things like that. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Let me know what you think of it. Obviously, I think price still has a ways to go up, possibly, especially if the other miners come in when they're supposed to come in and Bitcoin price goes up. So I think we're still undervalued as far as HIVE stock is concerned. I think we should be closer possibly to $5 instead of the $2 and what are we at now, $2.78 that we finished up on Friday. So we'll have to see where that goes. But I do think we're undervalued just like Bitfarms is. So that's all I got for you guys. Let me know what you think. Leave comments down below. If you like this video, obviously hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out a lot. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.